is M.A. Nord. She is a legislative lead volunteer with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. She is a member of the Southern Lehigh School Board and a business executive with Leads Inc., a global R&D company. Please welcome M.A. Nord.
First of all, I think we should start, everybody should donate to the presidential campaigns for Cora and Olivia as a joint ticket, right? They were awesome, really impressive, and that's why we're here, right? To develop those things in this up and coming generation. So, I am M.A. Nord. I'm with Moms Demand Action. And I'm a recently elected member of the Southern Lehigh School Board. I joke that, you know, in addition to my paid job, I have chosen to volunteer in gun violence prevention and serve on a school board, so I seem to have some weird thing for browbeating, grueling, unpaid work where you get lots of hate mail. But that's how I roll, I guess. I'm just so excited to be here, though, with all of these brilliant, strong women and great men who are supporting this cause. It's so important for us to all come together. And when I was thinking about the anniversary of the Women's March, I participated in DC last year, and I'm guessing lots of you here were in DC. It was an awe-inspiring event. Woohoo! It was amazing, right? Both the magnitude, the message, all of it. So I was kind of torn, and a lot of our Moms Demand Action folks, we have 65 people marching in the Philly March today in the Southeast PA chapter, but I wanted to be here. I felt it was important to be home and to be local. Here's why. I mean, it's so important in this day and age. Like, the political landscape is so daunting right now, and it's easy to get overwhelmed and feel powerless, right? Like, I turn on the TV and I'm like, oh my God, how do we stop North Korea from bombing us? And we can't do a whole lot about that right now in our own little universe, but, you know, and I don't like to feel powerless and out of control, but where we can influence things is right here, locally, at home, you know, on our school boards and our county commissioners boards and town councils. There's so much that we can do. You know, it's easy to kind of get paralyzed watching these battles play out on the national field, and there's so much right here that we can do. So, and that's actually kind of what led me to run for school board. There were a lot of people, when I decided I was going to run for office, a lot of people said, you're aiming too low, you should do something bigger, you know, why do you want to do school board? But I have kids in school, and I knew that if I got on that board, I could make changes and influence and shape policy that's going to directly affect my family and my community. And, you know, that's what it's all about, right? We need to come together in our communities and stand up for what we believe in. So, you know, and I think that's really empowering. And I will tell you another fun fact. Kathy Parsons is also here today. She's a Southern Lehigh School Board member as well. As of December, 7 of the 9 members of the Southern Lehigh School Board are women. So I just think that we have to seek out issues that we're passionate about and opportunities within our communities where we can really change the trajectory. Most importantly, we can't lose hope. We can't, you know, shrink into the abyss of depression, and we can't become cynical, because cynicism is a refuge for cowards. And this, as the Me Too movement and Amber and everybody who's spoken here have shown us, this is a community of courage. So stay strong. I think for me, the greatest lessons in courage that I have learned have come from my work in the gun violence prevention movement, especially working with these women who have lost their children. Their children have been murdered by guns. They've been subjected to domestic abuse and lost family members. It's grueling work, but it's been 5 years since Sandy Hook, and one of the things that kills me is I hear all the time, and I hear it from friends and supporters alike. They say it's been 5 years and nothing's changed. So why do you keep doing this? You know, why are you killing yourself for this movement? But I'm here to tell you what has changed, and it's been a lot. In the 5 years, the day after Sandy Hook, Shannon Watts was in her kitchen in Indiana. She was a mother of 5, and she sat down at her laptop and said, enough. We are not going to let our children be murdered in their classrooms. And she started a Facebook page, and within a week she had 1,000 likes, and within another week she had 5,000 likes. And 5 years later, Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America is the largest gun violence prevention organization in the country. We have 4 million supporters, we have 80,000 volunteers, active volunteers. We have a chapter in every state. We have multiple teams in Pennsylvania. And we are on the ground in every state advocating for better laws and to keep our communities safe, and that's what it's all about. And the group is Mothers and Others. We are bipartisan, it's grassroots. We include gun owners, we include Republicans and Democrats, but the real fact of the matter is it is a group that was founded by women, organized by women, and powered by women, and we have achieved great things in 5 years. The organization, I think, obviously at the federal level, we've encountered some challenges with the current administration, but because we're an organization largely consisting of women, we have found out ways and figured out ways to where we can make progress. And I think that's been largely in kind of two areas. The first is changing the narrative and the culture of gun violence in America. It's a huge battle, and you have to remember the NRA had a 30-year head start. They hijacked our country 30 years ago. So they've got a 25-year head start on us, but in the 5 years that we've been on their tails, we've changed things. I don't know if you paid much attention to the exit polls in Virginia last month, but the #1 issue in the exit polls was healthcare. The #2 issue was gun safety. That was unheard of a couple of years ago. It is no longer the third rail in politics. In Texas, of all places, we have Republican congressional candidates making the rounds at all of our meetings because they want to come and they want us on their side. Republican congressional candidates in Texas are coming to Moms Demand Action meetings and asking for our help. I mean, that is a sea change like I've never seen. The other thing that we do is we advocate because we are somewhat frustrated at the federal level. We are making great progress at the state and local levels. In the last 5 years, we've helped pass background checks in 7 states, background check laws in 7 states. So we brought the total to 19 states that require universal background checks. We've passed bills to strengthen the background check system and enable emergency gun violence restraining orders, which are a huge community safety issue. We've passed gun safety ballot initiatives in 3 states despite massive opposition from the NRA. We've passed laws in 24 states, both red and blue, to keep guns away from domestic abusers. A lot of those have been in Republican-governed states. We passed 7 in 2017 alone. And right now, we have a table in the back with our partner, Ceasefire PA. They're a great state-run organization. We partner with them all of the time, and they're here tabling with us today. But we're collecting signatures for SB 501, which is state legislation to close the loopholes in our law in Pennsylvania that right now in Pennsylvania, somebody that's convicted of domestic abuse or subject to a final restraint PFA does not have to relinquish their guns. And do you know how often they're mandated by a judge? It's up to a judge's discretion. 1 in 7 cases are required to relinquish the guns in their possession. They have 60 days to do it, and they can give it to their brother or their buddy down the street. It's common sense, just not basic reforms. So speak out to your senators and tell them that you want a Judiciary Committee hearing on that legislation and you want it now. The other thing that we've had tremendous success in is beating back the guns in schools bills. They have been pushing this on college campuses, through kindergarten classes all across the country. We faced that battle this past summer here in Pennsylvania, and we managed to cripple that bill. And we did it with the help of 8 Republican legislators who voted with us, who stayed with us through the whole time, even when they made amendments to try to make it more palatable to the moderate Republicans. And it was because we had been building relationships with those legislators for months. We were meeting with them, we were talking with them, we were opening up dialogue with people who normally don't agree with us, because that's how you move the needle. And we built those relationships, and they paid off, because even though that bill passed because of gerrymandering, the bill passed through the Senate, but we secured a veto. We kept them from securing a veto-proof majority, so they have no hope of passing that. As long as we keep Governor Wolf in office, so get on that too. So speaking of legislators, this is the final thing I want to talk about. I think really if we want to change our culture and change things moving forward and achieve true equality, we have to get more women in elected office. It is crucial. We have to have a seat at the table. If we want to change things, we have to have a voice in this process. We have to elect more women. Globally, the United States is 101st in elected women in office. Number one is Rwanda, and Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan have a higher percentage of women in elected office than the United States of America. That's where we are. Globally, in Pennsylvania, some handy-dandy visual aids. Here's our Pennsylvania legislature. 47 out of 253 are women. Pennsylvania has never elected a female governor or senator. Alabama has a female governor. We've never had a female governor or a senator. In the Congress, we have 18 congressional representatives in the House of Representatives. 0 are women. 0. We have 6.5 million women in Pennsylvania, and we don't have a single woman representing us at the federal level. We have to change that from our school boards to our senates. We need more women in office. And even if you don't want to run for office or be in office, get behind the scenes and support and lift up and elevate women so that they can run and that they can represent us in elected office. It's so important. Okay, and that's all I have to say about elected women in office. But actually, no, it's not, because the other thing is that studies have shown us, I think, what we've always known, right? Women govern differently, and it's been proven. Women reach out, they are more bipartisan, they are more likely, according to studies, this isn't just me, they are more bipartisan, they're more apt to propose legislation focusing on healthcare, safety, education, poverty, community-based issues, and they are more likely to be consensus builders. Yeah. So that's, if nothing has been proven this year, you know, we need that in our government right now. Yeah. Yeah. So, again, from our communities all the way up from city council to school board to Senate, please support women, stand up, elect them, run for office, consider doing it yourself, just get out there and support that initiative. Right. Now is the time, it's our moment right now to rise up, because this movement and this community and these people who are here gathered today, to me, it's the great gift that has been born out of this very dark period in our history. We've come together in ways that we could have never imagined. I mean, Vanessa, so many of these people who are here today, I didn't know a year ago, right? I mean, we are all here, and the universe has kind of conspired to bring us together in a way that is so incredibly powerful. And, you know, we have to grasp that and do something with it. It can't just be a moment and we all go home and go back to our lives. It needs to be continued, and the momentum needs to keep building. Yes. All right. These are the connections, I think, that are forged out of our darkest moments that really are the defining moments in our lives. This has turned us into activists and fighters and forces for good, and we need to stay strong. They need to expect us. Today, my heart is just filled. It's filled with gratitude and joy and excitement for what's ahead. I'm not focused on, you know, the nonsense that we see out of the Oval Office right now. I'm focused on here, right now, in our communities, because this is where we forge change, and this is where it's going to happen. So they should expect us. Thank you.